So I'm really hoping that the intro that you just saw is me driving this car with all of the body panels on it. Right now you can see the doors are still missing. There's no side skirts. Everything's kind of being held on by tape. So that's something I want to fix, and that's what I'm going to be doing in the beginning of this episode. I'm also going to be mounting and taking care of some of these little things, harness bar, seat brackets. I've got battery relocation kit right here, those side skirts that I mentioned, arrow catches, a bunch of the miscellaneous stuff. So let's start with that, and then we'll move on to getting the doors welded and onto this car. Looking at this pile, the things I want to start with are the small stuff. So one of them is the GrimmSpeed antenna delete for GC Imprezas. This is one of our earliest products that we ever made almost 14 years ago. And it's kind of cool that we're still carrying it. So I'm going to put that on. Also, I want to throw in this seat rail here, and then I'm going to have to fabricate something for the passenger side. Likely I'm going to be tearing the OEM seat apart and using some of the components. That'll also allow me to mock up this harness bar, which is just a universal style. So I'll be throwing that in and seeing what we're going to need to do to modify, maybe make some brackets, maybe make some extensions, something like that. Here's what I've done so far. We've got this Buddy Club seat rail bolted in. Now this is specifically made for a Subaru, so it went right in. It's got all the mounts for the seat. Everything's good to go. On the other side, I did more of a DIY approach in the spirit of the budget build, and I took the rails off the existing passenger side seat, basically unbolted them, and now I can operate them with the slide just like that. But we are gonna have to come up with a way to mount the actual seat, which is where these brackets that I had laying around come in. Basically, we can mount them on there, figure out a system to mount them on this side, and then have a free version of what I paid about 150 bucks over here for. And then in the back, the harness bar is obviously very loosely mocked up. We're talking zip ties in here, but I need to know that it fits. It's actually a little bit small, so we're probably gonna have to cut these brackets down and maybe make an extension for it to mount right there. That's something that me and the welders will worry about. For now, I just know approximately what it's gonna look like. The next thing I want to get to is mounting these 2.5 RS side skirts. Now, since the Impreza L didn't come with mounting brackets for it, I need to figure out a way to do it, which means mocking it up, but it also means having the door on just so I know where the side skirt ends. Now, before I throw the door on, we already grinded the trim pieces that were on here off, and I just need to take it over to Avi and Welding and get those sealed up. We've got the door set up here with Avi, and he is telling us there are a couple of challenges with welding this up. It looks easy, but that looks easy to me because I'm not an expert. Avi, why is this going to be a challenge?
Just for burn through, reaching the backside, you don't want too much protruding out, causing clearance issues with the window or anything.
So in order to solve that, you're going to be putting in...
basically a backer, we call it. Just a tiny sheet that will help with tacking. Basically like that, and you just fill the front side, fill that gap up instead of filling an open hole.
So you're essentially layering it up, and this will make the process a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Less grinding after, less Bondo, hopefully. Less heat going into it, so less warping of the part too. So.
Okay, but a bit more of a challenge than the usual stuff they weld, which is nice 304 stainless, thick, just like this.
Yeah. So literally just tap the side a few times. You're good.
Shout out to Avi in the welding department for getting that done so quickly. All the holes are now filled. We obviously still need to grind these smooth, but it is a nice tidy job otherwise. Means we can mount the door onto here, then get the side skirts kind of mocked up, and we'll have more or less a complete car. And then we can move on to the other small stuff. The door ended up mounting nicely as expected. What I didn't expect is how poorly this fender fits. So you can see I've been grinding away at it a little bit to try and get it to work with the door opening. But I think I'm gonna have to cut a significant amount off and then re-fiberglass over the top, which I was hoping not to do, but expect the unexpected. On this side, Corey is working away at the wiring. Kind of some of the less exciting work, but vital because it's going to clean up the inside of this car really nicely, giving it that race car aesthetic like we want. So we're going to keep plugging away at this stuff, hopefully make some good progress. Well, since Corey's still working away on some of the electrical stuff here, I'm gonna follow suit and work in the engine bay. Basically, I mentioned I wanted to relocate this battery, and we've got a way to do it. We went down to the junkyard and picked up a power and ground wire from a Audi. A lot of European cars have the batteries in the back, so you can pretty much pull that system and adapt it to one of these cars. Save yourself a little bit of money, maybe $100 to $150 kit versus 20 to 30 bucks for all of this. And what it's gonna do is put that battery right in our stripped out trunk, probably on that side. It's gonna give us a little better weight distribution, but mostly it's gonna open up the engine bay, make it look cleaner, make it easier to work on. Well, we've got everything mocked up for the battery relocation. All of the power wires are gonna be right here. We've got a ground that we just need to put on the chassis. The main power wire we were able to run kind of under the dash and over the trans tunnel, and it's gonna fit nicely with the rest of the wiring that Corey's condensing. And then this is what we're gonna end up with. A nice beefy power wire, a ground that's gonna go to right in this area, and then we are good to go. So we're gonna get all the fittings and things we need tomorrow. For now, we're gonna keep plugging away. Corey on the dash over there, getting the airbags and things out. And I don't know what I'm gonna do quite yet, but I'll find a small job. Maybe those arrow catches are next. If you're not familiar with arrow catches, this is what they are. They're a hood latch system, a really nice one, a lot better than just a metal pin and cottering pin going through it. A little bit nicer, they don't rust, which is great in Minnesota. The name of the game with these is to measure 6 times and cut once. And really, the best way to do it is to find some point on the hood that is symmetrical on both sides, like this hole or here, to be able to drill through and get one of the pins that it comes with through. So I think I'm gonna go on that one. I did already mock it up on this side with a little bit of tape. That's gonna be about the placement of it. So the same on either side and same distance away from the hood. I think that's gonna look good, so I'm gonna start drilling in here. I've gotten about 70% done on this one, so I figured before I start cutting over here, I'd give you guys a little bit more of a step-by-step on how to do it if you haven't installed an arrow catch before. So far, I've chosen a location for the arrow catch pin to go through, so that's gonna need to mount on the core support area here, just right there in the middle. Marked it on the hood, drilled through it, so you see a little pilot hole right there. I'm gonna use that for reference on the arrow catch. Essentially, this pin is gonna sit in here, so I need to align it with where it's gonna go through the hole, which means lining it up there. And then it's really up to you how you wanna orientate it. I would like to have it flush with this side here. So basically what I'll do is mark off the outside, then I'll take this off, I will mark the inside, and that's when I can start cutting. Here's what we have. I kind of cleaned it up with a Dremel a little bit. It should fit this nice and tightly now. Let's see. Maybe even a little too tight. I'll go back in and bore the hole out a little bit. But if we lift this up, we should have a straight shot to where that pinhole is gonna go. And we do, so we're looking good. The next thing is we just need to cut out the inside, put the backing plate on, and then we can finish that up. Meanwhile, while I'm doing this, Corey is inside of the car, still dealing with some of the electrical, but also starting to tear the dash apart over here. As I said before, we're gonna tear this thing out, flock it. Nobody likes the tan dash, and we've got a nice flock kit waiting for it. It's a lot of work. I'm gonna let him do it. I'm gonna finish up here. Despite me loving almost everything about Subarus, I kind of hate the mirrors that all the generations come with, the Impreza L included. So I decided to delete it for the looks, but also for weight. They're relatively heavy. I mean, they're electric and they're not heated like the JDM ones, but still a little bit of weight off of it. So I want to put rally style or rally inspired mirrors on it, which is why we need to fill this space. Corey was kind enough to make a little template for us. So that'll be the backer piece, and I'll show you the mirrors I picked up. They're just some eBay specials, but they are actually not too bad. Very lightweight, very small, and I won't be using them all that often anyway. I look forward when I drive, not back. We're gonna install these, and that's one of the last touches on the car before we could probably wrap this episode up, go take this thing out for a drive. got the mirrors mostly on, more or less mocked up. You see the plate fits pretty well. The placement is good. Basically what I need to do is get with the welders, weld some studs on the inside of this so I can really bolt this in. But overall looks pretty good. Super lightweight and less bulky than the OEM mirrors for sure. Corey has been working on the electrical system this whole time with the battery relocation. Are you done yet?
Yeah, we're doing a little fake it till you make it, but this is just to make sure it runs first, so don't add
Exactly. Not the prettiest. That's kind of what the stage that we're at in the car. We're going to be cleaning all this stuff up. And then in the back, we've got the battery hooked up. We haven't started the car yet, so hopefully this is good enough. This is a temporary ground for now, just to see. Hopefully the car starts. We don't really know. Corey, you want to do the honors?
Sure do. Because it's my wiring if I get electrocuted.
It is your wiring. I'm going to step back, make sure the car doesn't explode.
Oh, ye of little faith.
We got some lights. Hey! All right, perfect. It starts, which, you know what that means? Now we can take it out for a little bit of a drive, give you guys some footage of the exterior of the car outside of the shop. And then when we get back, it's all hands on deck, pulling that engine out, getting the drivetrain out. You can see over there is the pile of new rust-ish free drivetrain that's going to be going in. So we've got a lot of work to do, but this is progress.